You can become an inventor, innovator, and a co-creator of God, and all that you can do through work, through work, through work. So, everyone can become an inventor. Everyone can become an innovator if you could work. If you get to know the secret of work, if you get to understand work, wow. If you get to understand work, and if you get to love work, hard work, if you, especially mental work, if you get to love work and working mentally, if you discipline yourself to work all the time and to work hard mentally and adding value to yourself and to others, if you learn to add value to products and to services, if you learn to do that, to work hard, there is nothing you cannot become. There is nothing you cannot do. One of the greatest revelations of my life, to date is the fact that I never knew this, and I'm very sorry that so many people are still living in this world, still don't know this fact. And the thing that I said is one of the greatest revelations of my life is the fact that, life is predictable. I never knew that. I never knew life could be predictable. I always thought, and this is the school of thought that is very well spread, very widely spread out all over the world in every culture, that life is not predictable, that life is a kind of mystery. Most people kind of tell you that life is a mystery. Then other people tell you that life is about fatalism, that whatsoever will happen anyway. So that is fatalism. That is, you cannot control things. Things will just happen that must happen. But it's not true. Life could be predictable. And then another school of thought that you hear most people think about is that life is about luck. Life is about chance. But no, life could be predictable. And one of the things that will make life predictable for you is hard work. But it's not just that I want to talk about today. So one of the greatest secrets of life for me, one of the greatest discoveries of life, is that life could actually become predictable, that you could actually map out your life, that you can actually plan out your life, that you could actually predict what will happen in your life. That life is predictable. That is unbelievable. And let me give you some of the principles that make life predictable. Let me give you some of the principles that make life predictable, and that will help you to make your life predictable. And that is why I say you could actually predict and decide concerning yourself in your own life that you want to become an inventor, that you want to become an innovator, and that you want to become a creator with God. You can decide that. That is in your power to do, because life is predictable. And some of those secrets are what I want to give you today. What are the things that make life predictable? Let me just give you the laws first of all, the principle. Number one, notice this. If anything has ever been done on the earth before, if anything had ever been done on the earth before, listen to this, any other person that is willing can actually repeat that feat or that achievement, that record. If anything had ever been done before, any other person can repeat it. Remember that. So if there is anyone that was ever an inventor in this world before, you can make up your mind to become one, and you will be. If anyone has ever been an innovator before in this world, if it had been done before, it could be repeated. Don't ever forget that. Anything that has ever been done before can easily be repeated by anyone. That is one thing that you must remember. That also means that you can become the architect of your life and destiny. You can actually become the architect of your life and destiny. You can become the architect of your life and destiny. So that's one point that you want to remember. Remember that. Is there anyone that you admire in this life? Is there anyone that you read about 100 years ago, 50 years ago, recently, right now, that are doing things that are really inspiring you? Well, the good news is that if that person was a human being, if that person is a living human being like you, anything that had ever been done before could be repeated by another person. Remember that. Number 2, the only reason why anyone might not become anything he wants to become will be kind of twofold reasons. The only reasons why anyone might not become anything he wishes to become is either of the two. Either the person does not know the principles, the laws that were applied by the other person who had done that thing before. Either this or other person who wants to repeat the achievement of the other one does not know the rules, the principles, the laws that were behind what that other person did. Or, so that let's undo that first. The only reason why you could fail in life, and the only reason why you might not attain or achieve anything that you wish to become or to attain in life could be, 1, because you don't know something. There is something that is missing. There's a missing link. There is something you don't know. It boils down to what the Bible said: ignorance. My people are perished for lack of knowledge. The only thing, one only thing that will make you not to attain or achieve or attain any goal that you set before you is because a knowledge link somewhere is missing. But if there is any human being that has ever done that particular thing that you want to do, just go find out the principles, the laws they abide by, the principles they follow, the discipline they observed, the things that made them, the principles and the laws. You have to do analysis and the principle that brought them to that success. If you could discover same principles, same laws, then you stand a great chance of being able to do the same thing. Number 2 reason why you might not be able to attain anything you set your mind to attain in life. Number 2 reason why you might not be able to do whatsoever you intend to do, especially if that thing had ever been done by somebody before. The only other reason why you might not be able to do the thing that someone has done before, or something that you want to do, or to become somebody that you want to become, the only other reason is that maybe you know the secrets, maybe you know the principles. You might know the principles, you might know the secrets that led others to achieving that feat, to achieving that achievement, goal, purpose, greatness. But you might know that, but you might not have the discipline. You might not have the discipline to do the same thing, to go through the same process that those other people went through. You must have the discipline to go through the same process. You must have the discipline to be able to repeat what those people have done, or to even do better than them. So you can know all the laws, you can know all the principles, but if you don't apply the same discipline to go through the process, you will not be able to do it. So, I think you get it. That is what makes life predictable. Those are some of the things that make life predictable. Life is predictable because if anyone ever did it, it could be repeated. And it must be repeated. And it's being repeated, actually. You might not be aware of it, you might not know about it, but if it has been done by someone else before, it is also being repeated on a daily basis by other people that you don't know. Why should you be an exception? So, life is predictable. Therefore, we are talking today about the fact that what's your name, by the way? What's your name? What's your name? Anastasia? What's your name? Andrew? What's your name? John? What's your name? Esther? What's your name? What's your name? Whatever your name might be. You in particular, can become anything you wish to become, including becoming an inventor, an innovator, or an co-creator with God. I just told you, if anyone ever did what you plan to do, then that is even easy, because anything that had ever been done by anyone else in this world could be repeated. Number two, you just need to go ahead and study the principles and the laws that the people who have done it observed, the principles that brought them there, the principles that helped them to achieve what they achieved. Go and study and know it and master it the way they had mastered it. That's number two reason why you can become anything you want to become. Number three reason is your willingness to pay the price, to go to take yourself through the process of actually doing that thing. You've got to be willing to pay the price of discipline, and go through the process. You go through the process. But if anyone has ever done it, if you get to discover and you know the principles and the laws, if you also are willing to pay the price and go through the process, life becomes predictable. I don't know for you, but for me, that is an exciting news. That is an exciting news. I can become anything. I can become the architect of my own life. I can set my life in motion. Once I heard that, I began to set my life in motion. I began to just build a system for myself. Since I heard that about 15 years ago, I started living my life 20 years backward. I started living my life 20 years from now on. Let's say I'm 50 now. I look in 20 years time when I'll be 70, and I see what is happening. I plan my life 20 years ahead. And then I start from now and begin to live that life, in perspective of 20 years from now. So anything I do today is because I'm seeing 20 years ahead. But I'm no more doing anything for 20 years anymore. The life I'm living today, planning it for the next 300 years. I am living a life that is planned out for the next 300 years, my dear. Because I have discovered that I can plan my life 300 years ahead. Even when I'm dead physically, when I'm no more here, I will still be alive in the next 300 years. That is what I'm working for right now. I'm not working for today's success anymore. I'm working for the success of the next 300 years, my dear. Now, when it comes to the topic of today, which is you can become an inventor, you can become an innovator, and a co-creator with God. That is even the easiest one. That is easy, really. That is easy. And you know what? To be an inventor, I never knew it could be as easy, but it's easy. And so we used to think that some people are talented, some people are gifted. Everyone is talented. Everyone is gifted, my dear. Oh, so only a few people can be an inventor? No, everyone could be an inventor. You know why? Because the inventor general is living inside of you. The inventor general is living inside of you. Everyone can become an inventor because the inventor general is living inside of you. God is a creator. That is the greatest key to every one of us becoming an inventor. God is an inventor. God is a continuous inventor. God is a continuous innovator. God is a continuous creator. And because that creator, that God, that is the creator of everything, that's a continuous creator, an ongoing innovator, the continuous innovator and inventor lives in us. And we have his mind. We have the mind of Christ. And God is in us. That by itself makes it a reality that I and you, we are already made creators. We are already co-creators with God because his nature is in us and he lives inside of us. We are co-creators with him because he lives inside of us. because he lives inside of us. The very creator lives inside of us. The greatest creator lives inside of us. We are the inventor general lives inside of us. There is no excuse why we cannot be like him, because he made us in his image. He created. If he is the creator and he made you in his image, so who are you? If he is the creator, and he is the inventor, he is the inventor general, he is the creator, he is the innovator, the supreme, the ultimate innovator, and he created you to be just like him. To be just like him. So what's your excuse? What is your excuse? It means that you have that in you. It is buried in you. Begin to put your mind to work. And that is why mental work, mental labor is the most potent form of work you could do. That is why you could become all this through work. So the instrumentality and the instrument through which God gave us and through which God wants to release the creativity in us is through the ability, through the power of work. Work will make you an inventor, because you already have the inventor living in you. You already have the nature of an inventor in you. You already have the nature of God in you. You already have the innovator general living in you. The supreme inventor, the supreme innovator is in you. He made you with that nature for you to carry that nature. And because you have that nature, there is no doubt that there is something that is inside of you that you could come up with. You can invent, you can innovate, you can create. There are creation living in you, in your cell. You carry the cell of creation, a creator. You carry the cell of an innovator. You carry the cell of an inventor in you. You carry the very nature of invention in you. You carry the very nature of the creator in you. There is no doubt about it. No excuse. It is in your cell. Even if you are not aware of it, it's living in your cell. It's living in your substance, in your particles, in your molecules. All your molecules, they are calling out that you have the nature of God in you. All your cells are calling out that you have the nature of God in you. The creativity of God, they live in you. But we have been deceived for so long. We have been deceived that we are just ordinary. We have been deceived that we are not supernatural. We have been deceived that we cannot do all things. We have been deceived to think that only some great people are able to do great things. We have been deceived to think that only the geniuses can invent and can create things and can become innovators and inventors. We have been deceived to think that some people have the talent and we don't have the talent. Some people have the ability and we don't have the ability. We have been deceived to believe that we are not capable. We have been deceived in the negativity. They have put us down to think that we can just work. Just go to work. Just go and get a job. Just go and get a salary. Oh no, the DNA of God is in us. And because of that DNA, you can unveil yourself. You can unveil God in yourself. You can unveil the nature of God in yourself. You can unveil the nature of an inventor in yourself. You can unveil that nature, that thing that is hidden in you, that nature of an innovator. You can unveil it. You know how? By going to the laboratory, by going to the library, and by challenging your mind, by getting to thinking and getting to reading. You got to read. Only the things you put in yourself, you could bring out of yourself. If you don't put knowledge in, if you don't put innovation in, if you don't put know-how in, you will never be able to bring it out of yourself. You must be able to put the know-how inside. You must be able to put the innovation inside. You must be able to study the subject. You must be able to push yourself and study hard and go deep and get yourself engaged. Not in some television show series, not in some television Hollywood movies or Nollywood movies. If those are the things you are engaging your mind with, of course you will never invent anything, because your mind is full of pictures already. They are full of other people's picture. But we don't need you to just have other people's picture, other people's drama in your head. We need you to come up with your own pictures. We need you to reach inside of yourself and release the pictures that God has put in you. There are pictures that are buried in your mind. There are pictures that are buried in your soul. And by the way, But I pray that by the grace of God, one day you come to my class or to my master class where I will teach you how to become an inventor, how to become an innovator and an inventor. You will discover you can do it. I make sure that people who come to my class, 200 people, will do master class, and everybody will invent something. Everybody will invent something. Every cell in our body, every cell is carrying invention. Every cell. And I'm going to give you some keys today that you would even discover today through this live broadcast, without even coming to my own, without even coming to my seminar, without even coming to my training. You will discover that even after, by the time I finish with you, you begin to see creation. You begin to see invention. You begin to receive ideas from everywhere. Why? Because it is in you, but we need to challenge it to arise. And the way to challenge it is through hard work. It's through hard work. Through hard work, we'll reveal and discover the inventor in us. Through hard work, we'll reveal and discover and unveil the innovator in us. Through hard work, we discover all the hidden inventions that are in ourselves. In your cell, there's something unique to you that are hidden in you. In your cell, in your molecules, there are some things that are unique to you that are hidden there by God. Those are your own personal inventions. Those are the things that you could discover. Those are your own original thoughts. Do you notice that you talk differently than I talk? You use combinations of words differently than I use. You use grammar and and adjectives and nouns, and you put them together in a way that I cannot put them together. I put together my own language, my own words in a way that you cannot put them together. We all construct. We are all inventing when we speak. We are all inventing when we think. We are all inventing when we dress. We are all inventing when we do our hairstyle. We are all inventing when we do our makeup. We are all inventing every day. But you could take that higher. You could take it higher. You could take it higher and believe God that He will use you to see the big picture and be able to do greater things through you and through your ability to invent and come forth with new things, because the nature of God is in us. So to become an inventor and an innovator is much more easier than you think. It's much more easier than you think. So today I've given you many things, so a few things, that life is predictable. But that predictability is only possible through the power of hard work, mental work. Invention comes through hard work, mostly mental. If you discover the laws and principles that made other people to be successful, you could repeat their success. That is also mental occupation, because you must discover the laws and principles that made them to become who they are. Because life is built on principles. Life is built on laws and principles. If you discover those principles that made anybody become who they are, you can become the same. But for you to discover the principles, you've got to study. You've got to study. You've got to apply your mind. You've got to work hard. Mentally work hard. That's how you discover the principle. You find the principle. You work hard. You study hard. You do self-education. You push yourself. You read everything concerning the subject that has ever been written. Then you go to work on it. Then if you are willing to go through the process of discipline, the process of hard work that it takes, that the other person went through, of course, nothing can stop you from becoming anything that anybody has ever become, from doing anything that anyone has ever done. So don't put me on a pedestal. Don't put any other people on the pedestal that they are the only ones who could become like that. Yes, they are unique. They became who they became, but you can become as well who you are supposed to become. You can become someone as great or someone even greater than the person who you are admitting right now. I mean, who you are admiring right now. But the kind of church that the churches that we have today, unfortunately, is the kind of churches that put pastors on the pedestal and just say, oh, that's the man of God. That's the man of God. That's just the man of God. Man of God. And you, who am I? So you are just members. Now lie. God is in everybody. Everyone is a man. And you could make yourself man of God. But you could make yourself, it depends on you. It's in your hands. You can make yourself as respectable man of God. But that man has to be respected. Why? Because they paid the price. He has done what you have not done. So just do the same thing. Just to take yourself through the process. And you'll be able to become, as respectable as that other person. Oh, that one is a millionaire, is a rich person. What's the problem? If you want to become, you can be. Just go, put the target before you, get the agenda, go to work. It's only, you must shun laziness. You must shun just, the way everybody work. People just work, they just do enough work to make things going. But if you really want to become anything in this life, you must make sure you work at least 14 to 18 hours a day. I've never seen someone who is truly successful, big time successful. I'm not talking of successful, a local champion success. I'm talking about big time successful that works less than 14 hours a day. 14 hours is the minimum of the, and if you want to become anything of significance, you've got to work at least 14 hours on yourself, adding value, not just working on a job or salary. When I talk about work, I'm not talking about job or salary. I'm talking about adding value to yourself. I'm talking about working for your purpose, for adding value to create some values or services or goods or something like that. Now, let's now talk about, so I've spoken to you that life is predictable. I've told you that if anybody ever did anything, you could do the same thing. I've told you that you've got to just know the laws and the principles, and also you've got to go through the process through discipline and hard work. All right. Now, but to become an inventor, I've told you that is even easier, because there is an invention in everybody. There is the innovation in everybody. It is the principle of God. God is in us. He made us like that. That's just the way He created us. He created us in His own image. So we are creators. We are co-creators with Him. And He's continuing creating, and we must continue to create and to innovate and to invent. Now, let me now take you to the nitty-gritty of the whole matter. How do you now create? Let me now begin to give you some secrets about becoming an innovator, and how the key and the secrets of becoming innovators and inventors, the secrets and the ideas on how to get ideas to become innovators and inventors and creators. Now, number one, God says in His word that even though we don't see God, but the invisible God, the invisibility of God is being made, the invisible God has been made visible by His works that we see, by the visible works of God that we see. This visible works of God, the visible work of nature, the visible work of God, creation of God that we see, the visible things that we see, the creation of God that we see, they make the invisible God visible. It's a great thing hidden there. The great secret hidden in that thing. That's a great secret hidden there. It means everything you see, behind everything you see in nature, behind everything you see in nature. First of all, that's the second one. Let me tell you, number one, the key to creation and creativity is the nature. Everything God created is just a seed. It's only a seed, or a suggestion, or an idea. It's a seed of an idea. It's a seed of a suggestion. It's just a whisper. A whisper. It's not a whisper. What is the word I'm looking for? What are the other words that could? It's just a suggestion to you. It's a seed for you. It's an idea for you. It's a picture for you. It's a suggestion. It's an idea. It's a suggestion. So the key to creation, the key to innovation, the key to invention is in nature. Everything you see is just a symbol. It's a prototype. It's a symbol for behind them are hidden. They are shadows. Everything we see, even the old sky we are seeing, is only a shadow. Behind that sky, there is a big, many more ideas for creativity. For everything you see is just a seed, just a prototype, it's just an intuition, it's just an idea for you, it's just a suggestion, it's just a shadow, it's just a drop in the ocean, a tip of the iceberg for you to know, oh, that's the key for me. Look at this, my cloth. Look at this, my cloth. Look at this, my cloth. You know where this cloth is coming from? This beautiful cloth I'm wearing? You can see the idea. You don't need to go far. You see? Can you see? Nature. Everything comes from nature. Every creative idea emanates from nature. So the very thing you must know about creation is this. About creativity is this. About innovation. The very thing you must know about nature is that everything you see in nature is an idea. You can develop into an idea. So the whole of nature is a hint. It's a hint, an idea for us. The whole of nature is a hint for us through which we could get our own ideas, a suggestion through which we could enrich our own mind. If we will work hard mentally, if we will think, if we will study any nature, everything you see in nature will give birth to new ideas for you. Everything you study, everything you observe enough, if you study the nature, for example, look at this. Somebody looked at nature, studied nature, and you know what he did? What makes this cloth unique? The combination of plants and animal skin, snake skin, and flowers. Innovation. This is a product of innovation right here. You see what I'm holding here? iPad, computer. And you know why you are using your computer to watch my smartphone? You know why you have smartphone today? Because of nature. Somebody studied and observed nature enough. What gave birth to smartphone? What gave birth to computer, to the idea of computer? When people began to look after, watch after, study enough the mind of people, of man, the brain. It is the studies and research in brain that gave birth to computer. Robot is the study of man that gave birth to robot. Plane that will fly, the observation and study of flies, of birds, gave birth to the idea of planes. The cars we have, it is the speed of the horsepower, the speed of animals that gave birth to the idea, innovation and creativity and invention of cars. And everything you have comes from nature. Everything you have comes from nature. Everything, the whole nature that we see, everything, you can just focus on any aspect of nature and you will discover something. That is one idea that you must know. That is one idea you must know. Now, let's open our Bibles to the book of Psalms. Psalm 19. You see, I'm very sorry that many people are just looking at Bible as a religious book. We only look at Bible as is a religious book. But we shouldn't just be looking at Bible as a religious book. We should be looking at Bible as a book of invention. Idea. It's only a seed, a prototype, a suggestion, a hint. The Bible is just a hint through which we should get our own invention, through which we should always get our own innovation. You can look into Bible and see different things. Bible will give you ideas of innovation. See, come and see now. I want to teach you how you could use the Bible to give birth to inventions, innovations, and to become a creator with God. So the primary instrument of creation is the nature. It's nature. It's nature. Because nature makes the invisible visible. Now, the next thing you want to notice is this. Listen closely. Behind every visible thing that you see is a whole invisible world that is waiting to be discovered and expressed. So that's why it says that the invisible God is seen through the visible nature, through the visible creation. So can you imagine the invisible God? If you look well, if you study well, if you research well, if you challenge your mind well, the invisible God becomes visible just in front of you by observing the acts of creation. And what does that tell us? That tells us also that if you want to invent, if you want to innovate, if you want to create new things, look at anything visible, anything you like in nature, anything visible, look at it. Behind every visible thing, behind every visible act of creation, are a whole world of invisible truth, invisible realities that you can bring to pass, that you can bring to life. Let me go ahead and tell you more. The Bible also tells us that everything that is visible is temporal. Is temporal. Everything that is visible is temporal. Which means the just shall live by faith. The real just shall live by what is faith? The things that are invisible are the things that are permanent. The ability to be able to look at something that is visible, to see something that is invisible, is the source of creation. Behind everything that is visible is something that is invisible. Behind everything that is visible is something that is visible. That's why I say the visible things are temporal, but the faith is looking at the things that are behind those things that are temporal, to look, because the invisible things are eternal. The invisible things are the real thing that lasts. The invisible things are the things that are eternal. And that's why I say the just shall live by faith. The just shall live by the invisible things. Because faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things, not seen. The evidence of things not seen. So faith is the ability to be able to see things that are not seen. Things that you are still hoping for. The ability to look into the physical things and bring forth things that are not seen is innovation. Is innovation. That is how innovation comes. Let me demonstrate that to you. I'm going to do some practical for you here. I'm going to do for you some masterclass here. Psalm 19. Psalm 19 reads, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork." Can you see what I've just seen? Can you see what I'm seeing? You can. Let me help you out. The heavens declare glory of God. Every time you look at heavens, you are supposed to see something. The heavens are speaking to us. The skies are speaking to us. The heavens are speaking to us. Can you hear them? Can you hear them? So also is every part of nature. So also is every form of creation. Everything you see in nature is speaking. Is speaking. The heavens are not just speaking. They are declaring, shouting. Only few are able to hear them. But you discover what the heavens are speaking through hard work, mental work, spiritual work. There are three aspects of work. There are three forms of labor, I said. Three forms of work. Physical work. That's the least form of work. Mental work, spiritual work. If you do enough spiritual work, you begin to see what the heavens are declaring. You begin to hear what the heavens are declaring. You look into heaven and you begin to see things. See things. See things. And thank God for the scientists that just develop their mind. And through mind development, through mental development, they discover that heavens are behind. There are things there. Heaven could be explored. The sky could be explored. The cosmos could be explored. The space could be explored. And they started exploring space, cosmos, the energy of the space. They started creating and bringing about things just through studies, just through developing their mind. What about if we had to that development of our own spirit? You could bring, so there are so much inventions from the heavens. It's every day that the heavens are declaring something. They are releasing new ideas, new inventions, new things that man and humanity are supposed to discover. And these things, when we discover them, they give glory to God. When we subdue the heavens, when we subdue the space, the outer space, when we subdue the heavens, we bring glory to God. The same with firmament. And the firmament show his handiwork. Firmaments release pictures. Pictures, we are supposed to be getting pictures when we look at firmament. When we look at the sky, the firmament, we are supposed to get ideas in our mind, pictures in our mind. Why do many people love blue? Because they look at the sky. We copy blue nature. Blue color. We just, that's the elementary form of it. But there are so many things. We copy, we draw sky. We draw, so many ideas, so many things we could hear. This firmament, the sky, they are showing something. They are always on daily basis. The skies are releasing pictures, and we could study. We could use our mental development. We could develop our mind. That's why it's so silly to let some people put you in a box and lock you up in some churches and just make you be repeating Jesus died, Jesus loved you, he died in the cross, the blood of Jesus, and the animal, enemies are going to die, enemies do this, enemies could do this. Why should you let somebody waste your life away? You only have one life. You only have a few years to go. You only have little years. Why don't you develop your mental prowess? Why don't you develop your mental power? Why don't you develop your spiritual power by working through hard work? Why don't you learn to hear the sky? Why don't you learn to hear the heavens? Why don't you learn to see in the firmaments and to discover in the firmament? Then listen to this again. Listen to this. Listen to verse 2. Listen to verse 2. Listen to verse 2. These are the keys to invention. And these are the keys. This is not just talking about firmament alone. Look, verse 2. Day unto day utters speech. Have you been hearing those speech? Every day releases new inventions to the world. Every day releases new inventions. Every day releases new innovations. Every day there are waves. They come in the form of waves in the spirit. Just like there are waves around us. As I'm sitting here right now, there are pictures around us. But you don't know there are pictures around us right now. But if you put on your television, the waves of your television, they bring down the pictures. That's why you are seeing me. The reason why you are watching me right now is because the pictures are in the air. They're in the airwaves. That's what he's saying. That's how the day works. That's how day works. Every day there are new pictures that are released to the airwaves. Just like at 9 o'clock, you put on the TV, you're something, you see me in your something. I'm here in Ukraine, but through I release myself into the airwaves. And through the mechanism of television, computer, and internet, you get me to your place. So all around you, it's not just me that is also in the frequency, but there are also pictures. There are thousands, millions of pictures all around us. Just like you just need to go to the right frequency. Just need to go to the right wave. If you get the wave, the frequency, you get any picture. You could get Japanese talking right now. Spanish people talking. It could be radio. It could be television. That is our heaven. And God is releasing pictures, ideas, innovations, inventions to the world every day. The ability to tune in. You need to work hard on your spirit to be able to tune in to the spirit. Every day, can you see? Day unto day, other species. Other species. And not only day, other species. Everything there speaks. The sky speaks. The tree speaks. The water speaks. Everything. The birds speak. The ability to hear them and be able to create a physical product out of that. That's what we call an invention. The ability to hear what the day is offering. The ability to hear what is, the day, the morning is offering. The day is offering. The evening is offering. But it's only developed mind. Only the developed spirit. Through hard work, who have developed their mind, developed their spirit, only they could unravel all these hidden mysteries. Now, verse 3. And night unto night reveals knowledge. It's night now here in our place. Night reveals knowledge. Wisdom. Have you tapped into it? Have you learned to tap into your night? To tap into your day? To tap into your morning? To develop your spirit through hard work? To develop your mind through hard work? To get information everywhere? And to develop those informations and convert them into valuable services, into valuable products, and bless the world and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Do you now believe that you could become an inventor and a creator? Everybody can become a creator with God. God has equipped us with the materials. These are the raw materials I'm showing you here. Raw materials for invention, raw materials for creation, raw materials for innovation. These are it, you see. I'm giving you the raw materials right now. Next one. You see, it explains to us in verse 3. There is no speech or language where their voices are not heard. He said it clearly. Everything speaks. And it doesn't depend on your language. It depends on your observation, on your analysis, on your ability to develop your mind, on your ability to work hard on anything. The reason why I love George Washington Carver is because even though he has been dead like 100 years before I was born, he taught me to be an inventor. George Washington Carver taught me to be an inventor. Thomas Edison taught me to be an inventor. Nikola Tesla taught me to be an inventor. I studied them. I studied into their mind. Then I discovered that the Bible and the whole of nature is all about invention. There is no reason for us to fail in this life if we could just develop ourselves. You don't have any excuse to fail. You don't have any excuse to fail. You don't have any excuse not to be extraordinary. You don't have any excuse not to be supernatural. You don't have any excuse not to be exceptional. You don't have any excuse not to be a huge success. You don't have any excuse not to be a huge success. You know what George Washington Carver, how God spoke to him? It was just observing plants and trees, and he was asking God questions. And he said, God, I want to understand the nature. And God told him, nature? No, nature is too big for you to understand. Come smaller. He said, okay, I want to understand agriculture. So no, agriculture is too big for you to understand. I want to, give me something. He said, agriculture is too big. I said, okay, what can I? He said, I want to understand potatoes. Potatoes. Or nuts. Groundnut. Only groundnut. He said, even that is too big for you to understand. Even groundnut is too big for you to understand. But I will give you just a hint into groundnut. And that man produced over 300 products from groundnut. From little groundnut, he produced over 300 products. Because God made him, he challenged his mind to study groundnut. Potatoes. Sweet potato. He started using the same principle he used for groundnut and started studying sweet potato. Some of the things he produced today were being used. We are living in the world of George Washington Carver. Even for space and every form of, even automobile technology, everybody are still using the product that man discovered just by studying groundnut and potatoes. Every form of industry has been affected just by groundnut and potato. Any plant, any little thing you put your mind on to study, even if it's a plant, a tree, a leaf, nature, a star, the sky, the space, the ground, stone, anything you put your mind on to discover could explode and make you a revelation for life and eternity. If you will just study it and discipline yourself and work hard. And of course, George Washington Carver worked so hard that he will go into the laboratory on Monday. They will have to break the door on Friday to come and find out if he's still alive. And he's not even eating, he's just drinking water, and he's just doing research. And by the time they break the door on Friday and say, are you still alive? He said, what happened? I just entered 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's just 2 o'clock now. He said, no, it's 2 o'clock on Friday, 5 days later. It's just working and doing research. That's the kind of work we are talking about. That's the kind of work that is required so you get your mind engaged, you get your mind busy, not on some video games and video programs and some gossips and some empty work, empty waste of time in some places. Just go and doing religion and not bringing any benefit or any product from it. You see, the heavens, they are big stuff that we could reproduce so much product. I mean, he produced over 300, is it 200? 2,000, I think 2,000 different products from granules and over 300 different products from potato. Products, I mean, including mechanical products, including industrial products, including food and anything. Just through that man alone, he saved the whole economy of the southern part of America. He rescued the whole country and the economy just by studying potato alone and granite. Can you imagine what a waste we have all become? What a waste we have all become. The whole of Africa is dying, where we have thousands of believers. We have millions of Christians. We are just a waste, just being wasted away in churches, just being locked up in vanity. Instead of teaching us to put our mind to work for the glory of God. There is no language. You don't need to travel abroad. You don't need to go to another country to learn any language. There is no speech or language that this nature does not communicate in. Nature will communicate to you in your own language. You will discover God. And you will discover so many other things through any form of nature. And God cares for the whole earth. And that's why I say there is no speech. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line, their presence, the presence of the sky, of nature, of all nature of God. Their line has gone out throughout all the earth. And their words of what? Of creation, of nature. Their words have gone to the ends of the world. It is that word that somebody had that he produced this shirt. That he produced, that is nature, the voice of nature. And their words have gone to the end of the earth. In them, in nature, he has set a tabernacle. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. In every creation, in every nature, that there is a tabernacle, a place of worship. We could discover so much that through our discovery, we could discover evidences that will make the whole world to worship God. In every nature, in creation, there's a tabernacle. Everything is hidden there so that they will become instruments of worship to God Almighty. And he said, in them, in firmament, in the sky, in the creation, in all the creation, a tabernacle. And for the sun. Even the sun. Do you know where we get the idea of electricity? Do you know why we have electricity today? Do you know where we have nuclear energy and all form of energy? Do you know where we got our energy from and electricity and everything? It comes by studying the sun. The preliminary, the initial source of energy is the sun. And it is only when science began to study the sun that we now got all our other energy, atomic energy, electro energy, and nuclear energy, and all that, from the source of nature. Nature is supposed to bring us to the discovery of God. Every nature, every creation is supposed to bring us to a place of tabernacle, a place of worship, a place of worship, where we discover the greatness of God. But how will you discover without hard work? How will you discover without research? How will you discover without analysis? How will you discover without analysis and research?